Alright, so for today's lesson, we'll be doing some terraforming, but we're going to start off with some planning. So for this area, this is one of the very first cities of my world. When I first built this island around day 400, 500, I built these. Well, that one came first, and then that, and then this, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, this area had plenty of iterations going through, like the planning, and none of them stuck. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. Is that stayed for some reason? I don't know. So, phase one of building the Slayer, right, is you always must have a plan on what you're doing, right? Obviously, you don't want to go into a thing willy-nilly unless you're just built like that, like kind of like me, but on a big scale project, you always have to plan. And so you might be wondering, Slayer, how do you plan an area? On a big scale project, you always have to plan. And so you might be wondering, Slayer, so how do we plan? So, if you see in chat, we have a screenshot, right? Just simply flying up and taking a screenshot. It's like something like this would be really nice. So, what do we do with that screenshot? So, if I quickly, well, I get to a safe area first. Parkour. Ew. If I get to a safe area, because it's going to probably take a few minutes. This is a this is a screenshot of the area, right? That we will be fixing. Not fixing, but planning, right? So all I do is I simply like place a few sketches, do whatever, and this is how we get plans. As you've seen by a few of my older thumbnails, this is like generally what I do. Obviously, just something simple like this can get you really far in terms of planning. So we got stone, we got dirt, plenty of it. Let's try and get as far as we can. And so obviously using that as a reference, the photo we made, just easily just want to like, we wanted to flatten this area out. Let me get my shovel out. All right, so what I'm doing here, now that we have a rough outline of like as far as like how far we want to go out, we just work layer by layer by, like, obviously like going one layer up, seeing how far this wants to go, and then we just fill this in and like continue all the way through. If any of you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like, they don't have to be related to terraforming. Although if they are, I'll be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Now that we have this ledge over here, and Keith, you can take notes because I'm not really. I'm just trying to teach how I do things. So obviously I showed y'all how I do like flatter areas. It's just like take it one layer at a time. When it comes to a steeper ledge like this, what I found to be easier is either like give yourself lots of extra space to where you can like still like easily like get an outline, or to like go like top down instead of bottom up, if that makes sense. So like for down here, I'll show you like two different ways. Just simply like doing whatever, like giving yourself plenty of room down here. I can easily just like do this, get a quick outline of what I need to do. And so obviously like, if I don't like it, I can go back and like change it, you know what I mean? Because I have something to walk on and build on it very easily. But if you can tell, that takes quite a bit of dirt and you're wasting it, you know what I mean? Because now I have all this dirt underneath that I could have used to, like, for the rest of the project. So that is something you can do, but you have to be mindful of how much dirt you use. So that is like one way you can do it. The second one being top down, right? So this especially works with like steeper ledges like this, to where normally if like you go up, you risk having to like get steeper the more you go. You know what I mean? Because like you're like doing your thing. Oh crap, I have like 2 blocks to head up, so like it gets really steep, or you have to tear the rest of it down. So if you go top down, you can kind of get like, it takes quite a bit of editing, which is like why I use like mods in the past. But you can get quite creative, like even with like water and such, to get in the tight corners. And how you get top down, like the result, instead of having like like smooth and then like shoot up because you run out of space, you can kind of roughly estimate on how hard you like have to go. So like you can like, it's easier to visualize like, all right, I need to do this, I need to do that, if that makes sense. For example, yeah, this is way too far out, especially like that leads steep ledge over there. So we're gonna need to head in a little bit more. So I have tried both tactics in the world before, and I'll show you where. It's like, obviously I'm not like teaching out of my ass. Sorry, excuse my language. I obviously like try these and experience them. So yeah, this can be rounded out a little bit more. And so yeah, it's just easier to come through, edit to how you want. Now I have this area filled out, we'll move on to the actual cliff. So I put the dirt away and grab as much stone as I can. And now how do I do cliffs? I've explained it before, but since this is probably going to be for the class, I need to explain it again. So how I do cliffs, right? Remember Shrek, right? Shrek, right? How he's made of, how he's an onion, he's made of layers. So what I do, right? Similar to this, I go to the farthest layer back, as far as I can go. So as you see with this cliff, how it goes back, right here. This is the farthest out. I start with this. right? And so I do a normal skeleton, yada yada yada, come back out. Actually, I'm probably gonna get more of a rounder shape than this. Boom. All right, we got our one layer. All right, so now that we got this, we go layer by layer. So now this is now the farthest out. So we just like fill that, we get that circle, or like however we want it to look. We fill that in, then we go one layer out, fill that in. It's just a constant like circling. So how this is going to fill in this area, we can start building up. And what I'm probably going to do is that this is a little too tall, so either I create this and make it bigger, or I have another layer come out, which means that it has to be another circle. So how this goes up and around, we can probably instead start coming out this way. And just like fill it in probably up to there. And so we just fill the rest in. Which means that we now have to edit the top because obviously that's way too flat. I don't like it. Now that we have this shape, where I'm gonna fix this and like kind of match it, not really. So we have a lot of space over here, just like break it, make it bigger. So we like things big, don't we? I'm not. I should just shut up. So yeah, that's how it kind of matches it, but smaller. It fits not perfect. So bam, we have another layer done. See how good that looks? Just something easy like that. Easy to set up, easy to do. And obviously you can do skeleton framing because like obviously every professional builder is going to say, "Oh yeah, skeleton framing, easy thing to do, best thing to do." I've tried it in the past and obviously it does work if you're a beginner. I have a certain way I want things to look in this world. And doing wireframing, like I said before with the dirt, it's like you set the example and you start filling it out, yada yada yada. And all of a sudden, boom, you get close to another wire and you go, oh crap, I'm way too far out, I'm way too far in, so you have to fix things, you know what I mean? And that's how like things begin to look bad. But with this, you set the example in the farthest back, and you just like keep going layer by layer, and it like gives a more natural feel because you're giving yourself room to like obviously like do whatever. So that's why I find this way better than wireframing. Obviously, like if you're a beginner, it gives you learning curve to do wireframing. Obviously, like get in the feel of it, but the more you build, it's like the more you have a feel for it, just like becomes natural secondhand. And then obviously it's not going to work all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. I know I preached against it for the terraforming, but when you're doing huge like flat terraforming projects like this, it's best to have one or two wireframes just so you like know where if so that you still have a general idea on where to go. All right. So what I'm thinking about this area, right? I mean, like get up higher and screenshot what I'm doing to this area, right? So this is what we doing. So for this area, because this area is flatter and like this area like keeps going up, 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 I plan my plans are like having another cliff face, you know what I mean? Probably going up higher, but for now in this area, we'll probably just go up in something like this. And I feel like also for decoration, we could have like a few boulders here and there. I feel like that'd also be a good idea. But obviously, right now, that's considered decorating for me. So that'd be coming in another class when we're decorating the area. So the strategy is, right, kind of like the onion theory. You start from the front, you start from the, you know how when building a normal cliff, you start from the back and head towards the front because you can just circle it. Same concept, but you start from the farthest forward and then you just go from there. So you would start from here and work your way back and just like if you have a floor to work with on if you have a floor to work with, it'd be easier. So we have the farthest back, right? This way towards us. We build that and then we just start filling it in, just going with it. And you just keep filling it in, filling it in. And then boom, I just finished that. You see what I mean? So it's just something simple like that. It works great. That's the strategy I've come up with. Hope you liked today's review. I'll see y'all probably next week. If I'm still alive, probably dead because I'm too tired. But yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.